Hello everyone, I'm Frank and welcome to episode 35 of Learn How to Sudoku, where we take very easy variant Sudoku puzzles and we break them down in detail so that you can learn how to Sudoku. Today's very easy puzzle is called Thermo Heart by Doc Logic, and here are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply, which means place the digits 1 through 9 in every row, column, and box without repeats. German whispers. Digits along a green line have a difference of at least 5 to their neighbors. So, for example, if this were a 3, this cell would have to be an 8 or a 9 because neighbors have to have a difference of at least 5 between them. And that's how German whispers works. Thermometers. Digits increase starting from the bulb, and so the digits on a thermometer will always increase along from the bulb to the tip. So as an example, well, let's use this one. This could be 2, 3, 5, and 8. And that works because it's continuously increasing from the bulb to the tip. Now, if this were like, say, a 6, this would not work because it's decreasing from the 6 to the 5, and that's not allowed on a thermometer. So for the thermometer, that's basically how that works. Then you have Renban. Digits on the purple line, and I guess in this one it's actually pink. This looks more pink than purple instead of anything. But digits on the purple line form a group of consecutive figures in any order. So basically, if, for example, you had a 1 here, you would have to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, but in any order. So it could be something like 7, 3, 5, 4, 2, 6. And that would work because for a 7-length Renban, which means 7 digits in it, you cannot have repeats. So it doesn't actually say. Huh. Normally in Renban, you can't have repeats, and I'm assuming this is going to be the same because otherwise it wouldn't be a very easy problem. But basically, in Renbans, it's usually consecutive, non-repeating digits. So basically, because of that, you know you don't have repeats in normal Renban, and I'm pretty sure this is a normal Renban because this is a very easy puzzle. And on top of that, the only 7-digit set that 1 is a part of for Renbans is 1 through 7, obviously, because they're all consecutive. It could not be part of a consecutive set with 8 because there's 8 digits, but you only have 7 slots, and you can't be consecutive the whole way through if you have 1 and 8 in the same Renban. And that's how Renban rules work. Then the final rule we have is crop keys. Cells linked with a white dot are consecutive. Cells linked with a black dot have a ratio of 1 to 2. Not all possible dots are given. So cells that are linked with a white dot are consecutive. So for example, if this were a 4, this would have to be a 3 or a 5 to be consecutive with it. And for black crop keys, they have a 1 to 2 ratio. So for example, if this were a 4, this would have to be a 2 or an 8 to maintain the 1 to 2 ratio between them. And those are all the rules. If you'd like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now, I'm going to get started. Let's learn how to Sudoku. Okay, so what I like doing with... Where do we start? Well, okay. Let's start with the thermometers. So for thermometers, I like basically going from the bulb to the tip with the minimum that each cell could be. So this is obviously minimum of 1 because of normal Sudoku, but this one has to be greater than this cell, so it has to be obviously minimum of 2. This is greater than these 2 cells because it must be greater than this cell, which must be greater than that cell. So it's minimum 3, etc., etc. This is 4, and this is 5, right? because it's always continuously increasing from the thermometer from the bulb to the tip. Well, side note, 5 can never be on a German whisper line because 5 is 5 away from 0 or less, which is not a normal Sudoku digit, and 10 or more, which are obviously not digits. So this can never be 5. So the minimum actually here is specifically 6 because it has to be greater than 5 because we have 4 digits that are less, but it can't be a 5. So this has to be 6 at minimum. And then so going one way on the from the bulb to the tip for the minimum amount, and then I go retrace backwards on a thermometer using the highest amount. And I add in everything in between from that. So this has to be the highest is 9, obviously, so you add in 7 and 8. This one can be highest at an 8 because it has one digit that's higher than it, right? So it has to be 8 at maximum. So this is 4 through 8. Similarly, this is 3 through 7 because 7, this digit cell has to have 2 digits that are higher than it, at least. Similarly, this is 2 through 6. This is 1 through 5 because it has 4 digits that have to be higher than it. So now we know on this German whisper line, hey, we have a specific digit that is 6 through 9. Well, that's a pretty unique, how do you say it? It's very unique on a German whisper line because on a German whisper line, you always alternate between low digits, which is 1 through 4, and high digits, which is 6 through 9. Because, like I said, 5 can never be on a German whisper line. Similarly, 1 through 4 can only be next to the digits 6 through 9 on a German whisper line, right? Because if you take the lowest digit, which is 1, and you add 5 to it, the digit next to it on a German whisper line has to be obviously 6 or higher. So therefore, even 1 has to be next to a 6 through 9. So 1 through 4 has to be next to 6 through 9 in general. And then 6 through 9 is the same way. 6 through 9 has to only be next to 1 through 4. So you'll always alternate between lows and high sets on a German whisper line. Therefore, since this is high, the next 2 digits next to it have to be low. Similarly, these have to be high because they're next to a low digit. This has to be low because it's next to a high digit. This is high next to a low digit. And then we alternate. Low, high, low, high, low, high, low, and high. So that's one thing that we can always do on a German whisper line is that you'll once you figure out what one cell is, you can always go from that cell to the rest of the German whisper line that connects it and be able to figure out where what it specifically is. Anyways, let's continue with the thermometers. This has to be 5 through 9. Oops. Because, again, this could not be 5 because it was on a German whisper line. But this could be 5 because it's not on a German whisper line. Then this has 4 through 8, 3 through 7, 2 through 6 also. Okay, well, what else do we have? Similarly, you can go here too. This is 2 through 6. But if this were 2, so again, let's go low. If this is 2, this would have to be 1. But the problem is 1 is only consecutive with 2. So this can never be 2. It has to be at least 3. This is 4. But if this is 4, no, this is fine so far. If this is 5 though, that would mean this would have to be 4, 3, and 1. Or 2. It doesn't matter which. But either way, this 4 is consecutive with 3 and 5. So, and those would both be represented if this were a 5 here, right? If this was 5 and this is 4, this would have to be 3, this would have to be 1, and that would be 2. Or this could be 2, and that could be 1. But either way, 3 and 5 would have to be essentially in these positions, and they could not be consecutive then with the 4. So this can never be 5. This would have to be 6 then, at minimum. And if this is 6, this could be 7. But that actually works because this could be 7, 6, 4, and this could be 5. So we're not sure exactly what that could be. So this is 7, and this is at most 9, so it could be 7, 8, or 9. This is at most 8, because obviously it has one digit that's higher than it, so it's 6, 7, 8. This cannot be 7. If it were 7, again, 7, this cell has 2 digits that are higher than it, but if it were 7, that would force this to be 8 and that to be 9, because they have to both be higher than it. But the 8 then would have to be consecutive with another digit, but both 7 and 9 would be taken. So this cannot be 7 then because of that. So this is 6 at its highest. So that could be 4, 5, 6. This has to be then 5 at its highest, so it's 3, 4, 5. And this cannot be 5 actually as its highest, so it has to be 4 at its highest. And this is why I like going down one way and then going back the other way, because then you can actually limit things quite a bit on your thermometers. This then has to be consecutive with 1 through 4, so this is 1 through 5. Because it's to have a difference of 1 between consecutive numbers. This could be 3 through 7, but again, it cannot be actually all of these digits, because it's in a 1 to 2 ratio with a digit that's, first of all, it's high. Actually, that's the main thing. It's high, right? So the only digits that fulfill that criteria, it's in a high set, which is 6 through 9, and it can be next to a 1 to 2 in a 1 to 2 ratio with another digit, is 6 and 8, right? 5, 7, and 9 are not double of anything, and if you double any of them, they become a 2-digit number, which is not a single digit. So this has to be 6 and 8, which means this has to be 3 and 4. This 3 and 4 can only be next to 4 and 5. So this can't be 6 anymore, which means this can't be 5, which means this can't be 4. So this can no longer be 5 here because it has to be consecutive with that digit. So this is 6 or 8, which means the neighbors can only be 1, 2, or 3. Right? This is 1, 2, or 3, because 8 could be next to 1, 2, or 3, and 8 can also be next to 1, 2, or 3. What else do we have? This 6, 7, or 8 can be next to 5 through 9. That's fine. And we don't know anything about this digit. This is a low digit, which is next to a black Kropke dot, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, which can be next to... Well, this can't be 1 because it has 2 digits that are higher than it. Or, sorry, lower than it. It can't be 2, then, because it can't be 2 digits lower than it. This can't be 3, because this would need to be 6 if that were 3. This could be 4, though. So, 4 could be in a 1-2 ratio with 2. It could be 6, because 6 could be in 1-2 ratio with 3, and it could be 8. So this is 2, 4, 2, 3, 4, and this is 4, 6, 8. So this can never, well, this is in, next to a German whisper line, it's next to 2 digits. So therefore this has to be 7, 8, or 9. Sorry, 2 unique digits, which is important. If it's next to just 2 digits, this could be a 6, for example, because it's next to 2 digits, but they both actually could be 1. So, this is a high number, and it can't be next to a 1. So this is 7, 8, or 9, which means this has to be 6 through 9, because it's consecutive with that digit. What else do we know? This is next to 2 unique digits on a German whisper line, so that has to be 1 through 3, because 4 can only be next to 1 unique digit on a German whisper line, which is 9. This is also next to 2 unique digits on a German whisper line, so it has to be 7, 8, or 9 also. This also has to be next to 2 unique digits on a German whisper line, so this is 7, 8, or 9 also. But this could be 1 through 4. And this could be 6 through 9, and this could be 6 through 9. I'm not sure which. Okay, what else do we know? We know this Renban line. I'm not sure if I want to attack it this way, though. Let's go down to this thermometer. So this could be, again, 1 at minimum, 2, 3, 4. Go up to 9, which means this is 8, 7, and 6. So therefore, this is 3 through 8, 2 through 7, and 1 through 6. But there's no other restrictions on this thermometer. So that's fine. We know this digit. Okay, that's probably where we want to go. Oh, actually, no. Let's go here. We have a 3-4-3-4 pair in box 5. That means in the rest of box 5, and this is box 5 because we use essentially by convention numbering of boxes by Western reading notation, typical Western reading notation, where you basically read from top to bottom and left to right. So this would be box 1, box 2, box 3, box 4, box 5, box 6, box 7, box 8, and box 9. Well, in box 5, we have a 3-4-3-4 pair, specifically here, which means that those two cells require those two specific digits. Therefore, in the rest of the box, you can't use those two specific digits because they have to be in these cells. Therefore, in the rest of the cells in box 5, you cannot have a 3 or a 4. Well, what does that mean? That means this has to be a 5. 5 can only be next to 4, so this has to be 4 then, which makes this an 8 to be a 1-2 ratio with it. This 4 means this can't be 4, so this must be 3. These 3, 4, and 5 means these can't be 3 and 4, so this has to be a 1-2 pair here. This can't be 5 anymore. Neither of these can be 8. So this has to specifically be 6, 7 next to 6, 7, because 9 can't be next to consecutive with 6 or 7. Anyways, we have a 1-2, 1-2 pair in box 5. We also, and actually, well, yeah, a 1-2, 1-2 pair in box 5, a 6-7, 6-7 pair in box 5, which means 1, 2, and 6, 7 cannot be in the rest of the cells in box 5. And 6, 7 cannot be in the rest of the cells in row 6, because they're both on row 6. Therefore, this can't be 7, this can't be 7, so this must be 8 or 9. This can't be 7 anymore, this can't be 4, 6, or 7, and these can't be 8. So this can no longer be 5 or 6, because it can't be greater than that cell if it were a 5 or a 6. So this is 1 through 4. This can't be 8, and this can't be 8 anymore, and this can't be 8, so therefore this must be 9. Well, what is 9 consecutive with? 9 can only be consecutive with 8. So this is 8. That can't be 8 or 9, so it must be 7. On a German whisper line, 7 can only be next to the digits 1 and 2. And therefore, and we are next to 2 unique digits, so therefore it has to be specifically 1 and 2. This can't be 3 anymore either. This can't be 3, so therefore this can't be 4. This can't be 5. This is 9. This can't be 8 anymore, which means this can't be 4. This can't be 7 anymore, which means this is 9. But that means this can't be 7 or 9. Since this is a 5 or 6, it has to be greater than this cell. Well, the only digit that's less than the 5 or the 6 is the 4 in this cell. So this is a 4, which means this can never be 5, and this can't be 4 or 3, because this cell has to be less than that cell. So this is a 4. Let's see. This can't be 8 anymore, so this is a 9, which forces this to be 8. What are the remaining digits in row 5. It has to be 6 and 7, and this can't be 7, so this is 6, which makes this a 7. And since 7 is on the Renban now, we cannot have another 7 on the Renban, so this must be a 6, which makes this a 7. Let's see. We have all 3 9s here. Well, actually, let's look at the remaining digits here. The remaining digits here have to be 3, 4, 5, and 6 in row 4. Well, we have a 4 on the Renban, so 4 cannot appear here or here. Where can the 4 be? It has to be here. 4 on a German whisper line has to be next to a 9, so therefore this is a 9, which means none of the other cells in the row can be 9. So this can't be 9, this can't be 9, this can't be 9. We now know this is 3, 5, or 6 here, and 6 cannot be on the Renban because we have a 6 on the Renban already, so this has to be specifically 3 and 5. This can't be 5, therefore this must be a 6. This can't be 6. This digit must be next to a 6 or 7. So it cannot be 3 or 4 because that's not 5 away from 6 or 7. So this is a 1 or 2. Now we have a 1, 2, 1, 2 pair in row 3, which eliminates 1 and 2 from the rest of the row. So this can't be 2, and this can't be 2. This also can't be 4 or 5 because of this 4 or 5, and this can't be 6 because of that 6. This can no longer be 3 because this can't be 2. This can't be 4 because that can't be 3. And this can't be 5 because that would be, again, it would be less than this digit if that were the case. And therefore, similarly, this can't be 3, this can't be 4. Because it always has to be increasing on the thermometer. This can't be 8 because of the 8 here. This is less than 6, so it's 1, 2, or 3, or 5. Well, actually, all of them work. So this has to be 1, 2, 3, 5 also. And this is also 1, 2, 3, 5. Well, here we have a 1, 2, 3 triplet in row 7. So the rest of the row cannot contain 1, 2, or 3. So this cannot be 1, 2, or 3. It also cannot be 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 because we already have those digits on this Renban. What can it be then? This has to be a 9 then. Because it has to form one consecutive set. It cannot be 1, 2, or 3 here. And the only digit remaining now is a 9. This can't be 7 or 9, so that forces this to be 8. This digit has to be less than 6, so therefore it's 5. And it could be 2, 3, 4, 5. And this could be 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Because, again, it could be at most 5 here. So therefore this is at most 4. Because it has to be less than this digit. And, of course, it still could be 1. So this can't be 3, though. So this is 1, 2, 4. We have a 6, 7, 6, 7 pair in row 3. So that eliminates 6 and 7 from the rest of the row. Therefore, this can't be 6. This has to be 3. This can't be 7. This has to be 8 then. So this can no longer be 3. That means this has to be specifically 4 and 5 here. So since this is 4, okay, this is 8. So this can't be 8 anymore, and this can't be 7. Because these two have to be less than this digit, and this one being less than that one too. This can't be 4, and this can't be 5, because this can't be 4, and this can't be 5, because, again, this has to be greater than this cell, and that would only be greater if it's a 5. Okay. What do we do now? What are the possible remaining digits here? It could be 1, 2, 4, 5, or 6. So this is only consecutive. 1, 2 can be consecutive with 1, 2, or 3. Okay, 4, 5 cannot be in any of these cells because we have a 4, 5 pair in box 2, which eliminates 4, 5 in the rest of the cells. So this can't be 4, 5. 1, 2 can be consecutive with 1, 2. and 6 could be consecutive with 7. Now, the 2 could be consecutive with 3 also, but the 3 is here specifically, so that's not allowed. This can't be 3. So this is 1 or 2. This is 1 or 2. Therefore, we have a 1, 2, 6 triplet in column 5. Well, that means we can eliminate 1, 2, and 6 from the rest of the column. Therefore, this can't be 1 or 2 or 6, but so therefore this must be 4, which makes that a 5, which makes this a 4. This 4 means this has to be greater than this cell, so it must be a 5, which makes this a 6, which makes this a 3 to be a 1 to 2 ratio here. This can no longer be 6, so this must be 7, which makes this a 6. This 6 means this has to be a 1, because that's the only digit 6 can be next to on a German whisper line, because it's 5 away from the 6. Which makes this a 2, which makes this a 1, which makes this a 2. This can no longer be 2, so this is a 3. This can't be 3, so this must be 5. This cannot be 2, 3, or 5, so this must be 1. This can't be 5, so this is a 3, which makes this a 2, 5 pair. This can't be 2 because of this 2, so this must be 5, which makes this a 2. And now we're probably just doing Sudoku. Well, there's still some Kropke dots, so... And this has to be greater than 4, so this is 6 or 7. And the rest of the cells are 1, 2, 6, and 7. So this is 1, 2, 6, 7. This can't be 6. We have a 1, 2, 7 triplet in column 6, which means 1, 2, and 7 cannot be in the rest of the column. Therefore, this must be an 8. So this can't be 8 anymore, which means this can't be 7. This can't be 7, so therefore this is 6, which makes that a 5. This can't be 5 or 6, so this is 4. This can't be 5 or 6, so this is 7. This can't be 6, so it's 1 or 2. Now we have a 1, 2, 1, 2 pair in column 5, which eliminates 1 and 2 from the rest of the column. So this can't be 1 or 2. This must be 6, which means this must be consecutive with 7. This can't be 7. What digits are in a 1 to 2 ratio that aren't eliminated? It cannot be 1, 2 because there's 2 here. It cannot be 2, 4 because the 2 is here. It can't be 3, 6 because the 6 is here and here. So this has to be 4 and 8. And this can't be 8, so therefore this has to be 4 while this has to be 8. What are the remaining digits here? It's 1, 2, 3, and 9. What are the only consecutive digits there that don't remove all possibilities for a cell? Well, again, if this were 1 and 2, that would remove all possibilities for the cell. So it can't be 1, 2. It could be 2, 3, and 9 cannot be consecutive with any of these other digits. So it must be specifically 2 and 3, which means this has to be a 1. This 2 or 3 is in a 1 to 2 ratio with 4 or 6, but it can't be 4 because we have a 4 here. Therefore, it must be 3 and 6, which makes this a 2. This can't be 1, so this is 2, which makes that a 1. This can't be 1 or 2, can't be 6, so this must be 7, which makes that a 6. And now we're just doing Sudoku. This can't be 1. This is normal Sudoku. This can't be 1, so this is a 2, which makes that 1, which makes that 2. Let's look at all the 1s. Well, okay, let's look here. No, let's look here. This has to be 1 or 3. Actually, that's not good. Where is the 2 in box 1? It can't be any of these cells because they're eliminated by these 2's. Can't be any of these because this is filled out and this 2 sees that, so it must be here. So this is a 2. We have 8 2's. We should be able to figure out where the last 2 can be. And it has to be here, right? Because these are eliminated by these 2's, and these are eliminated by these 2's. So this must be a 2. The last remaining digit in column 7 has to be a 1. The last remaining digit in column 3 has to be a 9, so this is a 9. This has to be 1 or 9, and this can't be 9, so this is 1, which makes that a 9. The remaining digits here are 3 and 5. This can't be 3, so this must be 5, which makes this a 3. That's 3 in the corner. We celebrate because we're almost done. The remaining digits in row 2 has to be 1 and 3. This can't be 3, so this is a 1, which makes this a 3. The two digits here have to be 4 and 8, and this can't be 8, so this is 4 and this is 8. The three remaining digits here have to be 5, 7, and 9, which could still be any of them. But this can't be 9, this can't be 5, and this can't be 7. Three remaining digits here have to be 3, 4, and 9. And this can't be 3 or 9, so therefore this is 4. This can't be 3, therefore this is 9, which makes that a 3. And now we just solve. So this can't be 9, this is 5, this is a 7, this is a 9. The remaining digit here is a 5, the remaining digit here is a 7, and the remaining digit here is an 8. And that's how you solve this. Yeah, it was really cool, these interactions, particularly with the thermometers, because it fits exactly the way that I like to do thermometers, and how, like, basically you can start eliminating possibilities. Right? Because basically you started with a thermometer, which gave you a high digit, which allowed you to alternate between the lows and the highs on the German whisper line, which basically restricted these possibilities. And then you could go on this thermometer, which worked. Yeah, so yeah, this essentially appeals to how I like to do thermometers, which actually makes this really cool puzzle for me. Anyways, I hope this was a cool puzzle for you too, and I'll see you next time on Learn How to Sudoku. Take care.